Welcome! In this new series of short videos, we will look at topics of topical interest. Today we will look at how the use of Copilot Plus and Windows Recall would affect your computer. This video isn't going to look at whether Windows Recall will be a good or bad thing. There are plenty of YouTube videos on that topic already. But rather we are going to look at what impact it will have on the computers running it. There are a number of versions of Copilot either out there or coming soon. Firstly, the Copilot free version. And then there is Copilot Pro, which is a subscription model, adding additional features. There is also a Copilot 365, also a subscription model that aims squarely at the Microsoft 365 products. And then there is a preview of Copilot Finance. And finally, the Copilot Security, again another subscription model. But today we are specifically looking at Copilot Plus. Copilot Plus, as far as I can tell, this is the only one that seems to mention the Windows Recall feature specifically. And Copilot Plus is for specific hardware only. So let's look at some details for Windows Recall. Screenshots. These are set to trigger every 5 seconds, though this interval may be configurable. Data is stored where the screen has changed from the last screenshot. There is of course the question over multiple screens. Many users have 2 or more monitors. Disk space. This could well need a great deal of disk space. The documentation talks about 50 gigabytes of free space. And the Windows Recall feature will pause itself when the free disk space drops to only 25 gigabytes free. The processor. The only Copilot Plus computers I've seen so far are about a dozen laptops, and all of these have the Snapdragon X processor, which features a neural processing unit, an NPU. And this is obviously an ARM-based processor, so we'll be using the ARM version of Windows. Memory. This has been documented as a base of 16 gigabytes of memory, which is rapidly becoming the base specification for Windows, as many computers do now have more than 16 gigabytes. So what are our options? Content moderation. Apparently, Windows Recall does not do content moderation, so things like account numbers, email addresses, and bank statements may well be stored. In private or incognito web browsing sessions are to be automatically excluded. DRM content. Windows Recall won't store digital rights management content. Screenshots are held per user profile. Therefore, if you have 4 members of the family using the one computer, this will quadruple the amount of space used for the metadata. There is also to be a selective clearing of snapshots as a feature, so that you can go into the history and remove snapshots you do not want to keep. Exclusions. Websites can be specifically excluded from the capture process. So far, the documentation seems very web-based and hasn't mentioned desktop applications. Search Recall. This will retrieve both text and visual matches for your search, automatically sorted by how closely the results match your search, linking back to the exact location of the item you saw. Encryption. Both BitLocker and data encryption are to be used. So what will the impact on your computer actually be? Taking one snapshot every 5 seconds will mean a maximum of 720 snapshots per hour. With a high-definition screen, that's 1920 by 1080 pixels, this would produce 6.2 megabytes of uncompressed 24-bit data every 5 seconds. With a 2K screen, this would rise to 11 megabytes, and a 4K screen, this would rise to 24 megabytes. Even if they drop the color depth to 16-bit, the data size would be 4, 7 and 16 megabytes respectively. However, as I'm currently capturing this video at 60 frames per second, capturing a frame every 5 seconds will not overtax the computer, and the image may well be compressed when saved. For users with multiple screens, the data volumes will of course go up. Processing and generating the metadata. We just don't know how Microsoft will be processing these snapshots. The implication is that the Neural Processing Unit will be involved in running an OCR, that's Optical Character Recognition, type approach to pull text out of the images to build the metadata. This is likely to be run as a low priority batch processing task and not in real time. Once the snapshot has been processed, this is likely to be saved as a thumbnail and the original screenshot deleted, thereby saving disk space. The suggested use of the recall feature is to trawl your history of activities, like a mini Google search engine, and pull back matching results by querying the metadata days, weeks, or months after the original snapshot was taken. How long this data is to be held is not yet clear, but for the search to be useful, it's likely to be held for months. Security. With all this valuable metadata sitting on your local computer, how will it be secured beyond the BitLocker and encryption already mentioned? It's expected that, like any other product, it will go through version upgrades. So the structure of the meta storage may change over time. Therefore, Windows Update will need to have access to it to perform such updates. AI is with us now, and we will have to look carefully at all aspects of how it can affect both us and the computers we use to connect to the outside world. This type of valuable user metadata is already being stored on many remote servers. But for the first time, it's all going to be in one place: your computer. Food for thought indeed. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching.